Hello, Aries, and welcome to Soul Guidance with Adriana. I'm an intuitive life coach, and I help you discover your own truth. Let's get started with your weekly reading. So, we have lovely the Empress for the card starting your reading, the energy of abundance, of flow, of emotionalism. But I will also say that I'm feeling like this is a little bit of that kind of claustrophobic energy where there's maybe too much going on. You have your hands in too many pots trying to take care of too many things. So before we get our next cards, we're looking at this energy that is a little bit too spread out and needs to be perhaps separated. Okay, beneficial energy, we have the truth. Challenging energy, we have departure. Okay, so there is a feeling of wanting to run away from what the truth is. And because of everything kind of being a cluster right now, everything's on top of itself, and there's not a good delineation and there's not good boundaries between each thing that you're giving your energy to. The temptation will be just to drop everything and run away, or to just ignore what's going on, what's in front of you, and in some cases to push down the emotions that you're feeling just because you don't want to deal with it. And what's fascinating to me is that the energy that's beneficial is truth, Ace of Arrows, which in this deck is swords. And if you think of a very dense forest where you have a lot of overgrowth and undergrowth and there's no path through the forest, if we're talking, little older civilization, you'd use a sword or a machete, something with a sharp edge to cut through that forest and make yourself a path that's clear. Now look at the imagery in this card. You see we're in the middle of a forest and there's a lot going on. Everything is touching it. And this truth card is asking you to take whatever means you need to do, whatever sword means you need to have, and to cut through some of these ties, to cut through some of the denseness that I feel is around you and the chaotic things. Let's look a little bit closer at this Empress card, because I think it'll help you understand. So the main focus is this mother wolf, and she's feeding two baby wolves. Wolf pups? Yeah, pups underneath. But on her back, she's got these rabbits doing a funny little mating dance, holding some berries. And she's got the growth all around her, this stream, and then in the back we've got the deer with the wood, so you can tell there's a lot going on. And you look at this card, by contrast, we have two animals and they're aligned. Not everything is doing all of these different chaotic things. There's an alignment going on. There is an austereness, a sparsity, because everything's not all over the place. Okay, let's get a little bit more information. Father of Roots and Joy. Okay, so this seems to me, the Father of Roots is about devoting to something, devoting yourself to yourself, essentially, to all the projects you find yourself in, everything calling your attention. But there is a healthy compartmentalization that happens with this masculine earth energy here. You can even see there's clearly an above world and a below world. So not everything's touching, like on the Empress, everything is just flowing into itself. This Father of Roots knows what's going on above, he knows what's going on below. And it's separate, but not cut off, okay? Roots are connected, and this is just showing you, these are the flowers up here, these are roots down here. And what I mean is that when you're using your machete, you're not just using it destructively to cut everything out of your life, but you're putting everything in its appropriate place. You're putting everything in its appropriate priority. And that's going to give you lightness, this Joy card, Ace of Cups, lightness, and you're going to find that you not only have more positive energy to give to other people, but you're actually filled with more joy. You're going to feel so much more energized, so much more alive. And it's all because you're taking the time to make sure everything is exactly where it needs to be. The Father of Roots, because he has done this, is at the moment enjoying life. He's sticking his nose up through the soil and kind of seeing what's out there. So this may feel like hard work, but at the end of it, you're going to enjoy the results so much. It's going to be this like kind of wonderful, magical moment when finally everything falls into place and everything is in its right, I said before, priority. I'll say it again, everything in its right priority. It's just kind of like a settling down, like everything feels, so much better, feels so relieved. And again, this joy card, if you've been missing some of your joy, if you've been missing some of your lightness and the ability to just smile and go with the flow, you will find it again. So what's really interesting is we start with this really dense flow of the Empress. We get involved with this Father of Roots, which is about making sure everything is essentially organized as you're cutting through. And then you find your flow again. But the flow is untethered, whereas here the flow is very tethered because you're caught in so many different streams. But this bird is actually running on the water. And I think, I'm not really familiar with this story or with this concept from the Bible, but from what I've kind of sensed, it's about when your heart is so light, when your being is so light, you can defy gravity and walk on water. So it's that idea, Aries, that when you allow this chaos to calm down and when you actually direct where all the energy needs to go, you're going to find that amazing lightness again. All right, Aries, thank you so much for joining me and sharing your time and energy. Always great to hear from you, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week. Have a good one.